Hi, I'm Elizabeth with Oliver Smith Jeweler, and I'm really excited to be reviewing this Panerai today because it has taken me over a year to get it here in person to be able to talk to you about. Not only is it a Panerai Tourbillon, but there are a ton of other features packed into this 47mm case. This is the review of the Panerai Tourbillon, the PAM01060. Panerai released their first skeletonized tourbillon around 2016, and this was the Lo Cienciado tourbillon. Now we've seen a couple different variations of this over the last couple years, always very limited editions. This is the first time we've seen the case in GoldTech. GoldTech is Panerai's version of a rose gold or a red gold. It has more copper in it. It has more of a red masculine color. And I love GoldTech with a blue combination. If I've ever worked with you in store, you know, if you pick out a GoldTech watch, I love to see a blue strap on it, especially dark blue. I think it's really handsome together. Panerai picked up on my notes because when they released this watch, they gave it a dark blue, kind of actually more royal blue dial. Now what you're going to notice right away is this skeletonized movement. This is all made with a 3D laser printer, so everything is slowly etched out together. This makes the movement really light, especially on the wrist. Now, gold's not very light, so that's counteracting the movement for you, but Panerai's made this watch in all titanium before, and it wears extremely light for a 47mm. A lot to unpack on the dial as far as features of this watch. We have our hours and minutes, also a GMT hand, so you can track 2 different time zones, and that does hide under your hours hand really nicely. So the idea is that when you're at home, you can hide that GMT function. You don't necessarily have to see it. Over on the right-hand side, we have an AM/PM indicator that complements the GMT, let you know what the hours are at home. Over on the left-hand side is our seconds hand. So you're gonna see that hand slowly spinning around, that's tracking the seconds. One of my favorite features of this watch lies just beneath that seconds hand. If you get up nice and close, you're almost gonna see like a little comet twirling within that seconds hand. That is tracking the turns of the tourbillon. It's a fun little feature. The purpose, you can see the tourbillon, so you kind of know what's happening, but it's just a nice little detail, really well thought out by Panerai. Right beneath that, you see our power reserve indicator. This has a 6-day power reserve, 3 spring barrels in this movement. That's a long power reserve for a manual wind tourbillon, especially with so much that's going on the case. Previous tourbillon models and the Lo Cienciados had the power reserve on the back side. I've been wearing a Panerai with my power reserve on the front. It's actually really convenient, especially if you want to wear this watch for a couple days. It allows you to track what's happening. No need to take your watch off and check it on the back. Right at the 10 and 11 o'clock, this is really the standout star of this watch. It's the Panerai's tourbillon. Now, what's interesting about this tourbillon, 2 things that make it different. One is that it's laying on a perpendicular axis. This has helped to make the watch more effective and more efficient. And then also it makes a full rotation every 30 seconds. Usually a standard tourbillon, it's a full rotation 60 seconds or 1 minute. So you get a little bit more flash, a little bit more flare with this, and it's fun to look at. Now, interestingly enough, with this skeletonized movement and that fast-moving tourbillon, this is a pretty loud watch. I once had a client text me and say, hey, we're in the bedroom and we can hear the tourbillon clicking from the closet. So you're gonna want to be able to appreciate what's going on in this watch. You're gonna hear it on your wrist, but it's kind of cool in a satisfying way to know what's happening in there. 47mm case housing this movement. This is a big watch, and like I mentioned with that GoldTech weight, you're going to want to be able to carry it. But what I do love what Panerai did is you've got brushed gold on the sides of the case and then polished gold on the top. This is my favorite feature of some Panerai watches because what this does is the brushed on the side is going to help you hide scratches, especially with the gold and a bigger watch, it's going to get a little scratched. But then you've got that high polished bezel, really makes it look fancy, really makes it look nice. Now this movement also has some shine to it too. You'll notice that blue, it complements that polished bezel really nicely, was really well thought out by Panerai. My second favorite feature of this watch that you don't always notice is right here on the crystal. You're going to see that Panerai is actually printed on the crystal. So the hands can move below Panerai beneath, probably out of necessity. They couldn't put Panerai on the skeletonized movement, but it's just a really neat detail. You don't really notice it until you get it in person. And then I picked this up. I was like, oh yeah, I love that feature. So that's a great little well thought out detail from Panerai too. Now, also what I love about this new tourbillon is they have it on a deployant buckle. We did see some tourbillons over the last couple of years that were on more of a Tang style buckle. This is really nice. I think if you're going to be wearing such an expensive watch, you want to have that up in the buckle. Make sure it's not going to fall off when you're putting it on. Panerai pairs it with a dark blue alligator strap, which I love. You can do whatever you want. It's a 26-22 strap. Panerai makes quite a few of these to play with. This is a Panerai, so we still have luminescence used on the numbers in the hands. Notice how the numbers and dashes of the dial are attached to kind of the case up at the top itself. That gives you more room to look at the skeletonized movement, gets them out of the way. It's really nice when you see that glow too. This watch dives to 50 millimeters, which should be enough if you're diving with your tourbillon. And it's only out of 100. Like I said, it's really hard watch to get your hands on, especially for us. It's a show-off piece for Panerai, so it's a way for them to really show all the hard work they've been putting into their movements, especially their in-house designs, and it would be a show-off watch for you too. If you have any questions, leave them below. Let me know what your favorite part is of the tourbillon, and make sure to follow us for more great Panerai content like this. Thanks for watching.